Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to this special CO visit live stream off the cuff. You wouldn't have it any other way, right? Welcome. How's everyone doing? Sound off. Who's here already? Make yourself known. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate everyone watching as always and participating with your comments. Give a like as always. Thank you for supporting the CO visit. So let me know who's here. I appreciate the people already that are watching the transmission. Thank you very much. And let me know who's here already. So obviously I don't have my trusty coffee right now, but I got some soda in my special Pollolandia cup. It's a place that sells chicken, which is good. So as you can see by the title of the live stream, okay, the limited watchtower, since that is their verbiage of choice now, limited contact with removed ones and anything that can be understood by that. And yet what's interesting is that it's a bit selective. Not even a bit, a lot. It's a lot selective because they limit contact where convenient, and where not, it's full out, right? And so this is what I've been talking about in my videos. This is what we've been exposing and talking about. Oh my goodness, my collar looks like a mess. Why didn't someone say anything? You let me know. Say, hey, fix your collar, bonehead. Wouldn't walk into the Kingdom Hall like that, would you? So, you know, I'm just not. I'm not one for hypocrisy. You know, I'm not much for hypocrisy. However, when you look at the fact that Jehovah's Witnesses are expected to limit their contact with removed ones, which in all reality means none, no contact, unless it's once or twice a year, maybe, when you're going to invite them to the hall. And yet, just look at the business dealings, for example. Look at the business dealings of the different watchtower corporations. Do they limit themselves with their contact with, for example, Babylon the Great, as they put it, right? The empire of false religion. Since, you know, brother so-and-so that has a landscaping business or a window cleaning business cannot go and clean the windows of a local church and get paid, or they will tell you, you know, you're really not supposed to, let's say, go to a non-witness wedding. Let's say a family member, a friend, a workmate, somebody that invites you, yet the service is, you know, the wedding service is going to be in a church. And so what do? You decline. You say, well, I'll show up at the reception because you can't go to the church. Okay, and et cetera, right? So my Jehovah's Witness friends that are out there that may be listening, ask yourself this. Does the governing body apply that same standard to themselves? When they do business dealings, when they sell real estate, when they sell buildings, do they apply that same standard to themselves? Yes or no? This is not a trick question. It's not a question of apostate lies or anything like that. It's a simple, objective question. Mr. D, they just go out of their way to hide. And hi, by the way, thanks for being here. Really do appreciate it. Thank all you guys for being here. So we've seen many times where Jehovah's Witnesses, for example, the organization, okay, that deals with, which I'm sure Brother Jedley is involved in now. It has been maybe even before he was a governing king. They sell their properties, they sell their old kingdom halls to churches. Now, somebody who is an active Jehovah's Witness, how do you justify that? I have my landscaping business, my window cleaning business. I can't go to the local church and do work there because that would be supporting false religion. That would be basically like, even interfaith. And yet the organization sells a kingdom hall to a church. And that's not supporting false religion. You could say, well, I'm not gonna sell this building to a church because I don't want them using my building for false religion, right? But they don't do that. They don't do that. Because the almighty dollar is at play here. Because when it comes to money, it doesn't matter. There is no... all of those made up boundaries and all those things, false religion and Babylon the Great and this and that all just goes away. There's money to be made. Don't be ridiculous, right? Brother Jedley, was that what you would say, right? You want to make money or what? Because if it's a church organization, if it's a religious organization that comes along and their offer is the right offer, you're not going to turn it down. So you can take faith and trusting in Jehovah and all that, throw it right out the window. That's not a good practice. You want to make that money when the price is right. Bottom line. And yet they will control you and they will tell you not to make money. No, you can't go there and clean those windows because that's a church. They can get rich. They can do this. They can do that. They can make billions of dollars. You can't. Yeah, right. Yeah, you're right, David. Absolutely. Hi, Jay. Hey, Jay, how are you doing? Welcome. Thank you. You're absolutely right, David. Yeah, we wouldn't wear this. You couldn't wear this as a witness. Materialism and an American flag. Oh my God. Idolatry. Yeah, politics. Nationalism, national pride. Unless you're Serena Williams, right? Right. Well, if your last name, if you're Serena Williams or anyone related to her, then it's fuck all, right? Do whatever you want. Serena is out there not giving two F's about what the organization has to say. That's what I just said, David. Yeah, exactly. They're telling you can't do that. You can't have any business ties to Christendom, and yet they're selling their fucking kingdom halls to churches. So what does that tell you, Jehovah's Witnesses? What does that tell you? And yet you're going to sit there as a rank and file member and you are going to lose the opportunity to make money because they told you that you can't have business dealings with churches, with Christendom, with Babylon the Great. Yeah, and you're right. Yeah, and Serena's crip walking all over them and their rules and everything else. You know, that's just unbelievable. You know, absolutely unbelievable. Right, Mr. D, and that's what it all comes down to. That's what it all comes down to. Because yes, you can. And if, you know, witnesses don't start realizing that, you know, it's just because you look at the organization itself, the part of the organization that deals with the business aspect of it. So, you know, the real estate and all of that. Rafael Junior Plata, hola, me saludas en español, por favor. Saludos. Bienvenido. Mucho gusto. There you go. Happy. So, you know, it's the almighty dollar. That's the bottom line. Okay. The almighty dollar. And interestingly, yeah, what you're saying, David, that is true. While they now idolize the JW.org logo, it's interesting. The other day, I was just looking up of why JW.org uses a diamond in their logo, what that represents. And it's interesting how it makes perfect sense. The information that I found, especially for, you know, their main business model is the real estate, and the diamond in the industrial and business world represents stability. It represents wealth more than anything else. Wealth. It's being indestructible. It's being trustworthy. Since diamonds, I mean, regardless of what's going on in the world, regardless of the economy, diamonds are always expensive. Diamonds always hold their value. They never go up or down. And that is the logo that they chose for the organization, because behind the front, the screen, which is the religion, is the reality of what Watchtower really is today. It is a real estate business. And so fittingly, they have people in strategic places in the organization, like the governing body, like Brother Jedely. And that's what they chose because they're a real estate business. And they want to project, hey, we've been around for a long time. We're stable. We got money. We're profitable. You can work with us. Trust in us. Yes, Mr. D, you're absolutely right. The diamond, there's a lot more to that symbol in the esoteric too. Absolutely. Absolutely. Money talks and billionaire bullcrap organizations walk. Yeah. JW Fix and Flip used to be a quick build 3 to 4 decades ago. Yeah. Yeah. And now the thing is, sell them. Right. And that's what the whole scam was with, about 10 years ago, all this consolidating congregations and all of that. That was all a big scam. Hi, Susan. How are you doing? Welcome. Thank you for being here. I asked a witness why he still wore a wedding ring. It's pagan. He just smiled. His wife would never allow that. Yet they are against all celebrations. Yeah. And it's funny because there's stuff like that. I mean, when you get them on something, what can they do? They brush it off or they laugh. Oh, yeah. Right. That's why I said in my other video, I mean, it's either all or nothing. Okay. I mean, what sense does it make to just like pick and choose, arbitrarily certain pagan things, and yet you completely ignore other ones and you outright do them? Like with that, like literally everything related to wedding celebrations is pagan in one form or another. Everything. And not only that, we have expressions that are pagan. We have, like I said, with the calendar, the days of the week, the months of the year, it's all pagan. Everything's pagan, which is makes perfect sense because all these things came from human societies, right? Mr. D says, speaking of interfaith, have you heard of the UN United Religion? I'm sorry, can't read today. United Religion Initiative that the JWs participate in. It's kind of crazy considering that they tell the membership about being the only true religion. Yeah, well, and I'm sure that's another one of those things. If they're doing anything still with the UN, it's not common knowledge to the rank and file. But I'm pretty sure if that comes to fruition someday, they've already or they're in the process of socializing that idea of a united religion with all the other religions, and they got to get something out of it, right? John in KC. Welcome, John. Greetings, John here in Missouri. Missouri, the show me state. Love that motto. That's the best one. After 50 years of mind control, I woke up last year. Well, good for you. Good for you. Bless you and congratulations. Congratulations on being free of that, free of the mind control. Very good. This is an organization that nearly disfellowshipped me and then JW wife on our wedding day back in '99. Left on private reproof under full restrictions for over a year thereafter. Yeah. Yep. That's nice, huh? Oh, by the way, for your wedding gift here, you're disfellowshipped. John, you're 73. Okay. About my dad's age. Excellent. Very good. Well, good for you, John. Good for you. And God bless you, my friend. I hope you continue on your journey to truth. That's excellent. So, yeah, I mean, it's just all kinds of hypocrisy, all kinds of hypocrisy, telling the members that if you have your own, if you're self-employed, having a business, that you can't do business with churches. And yet they do. They do. They sell their buildings to churches. They, have all kinds of, business dealings with churches. And it's just, the hypocrisy. It's like they're not even trying to hide it anymore. I mean, it's kind of like here in Honduras. It gets to such a point where it's even cultural, and they don't even try to hide it anymore. It's just like, this is the way it is, right? You just come to accept that. So it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. See how my battery is doing. Okay. So that is for sure. Never too late to wake up. That's right. Yep. Just like anything else in life. Never too late to further your education. Never too late to learn something new. Never too late to wake up. I appreciate that, John. Thank you. Well, getting others to wake up, that's a tough thing, That's a tough thing. Each person Whether they are or are not going to wake up, I think it's kind of preordained. I think that's in somebody's destiny, if they're going to wake up or not, because, you know, there are people that they can see all the indications, all the proof, and they won't accept it. And once you're out, there's really little to nothing you can do to help other people to wake up. I mean, it's really hard unless they start going down that own journey on their own. But it's, you know, because witnesses are just so brainwashed to block any of that out, you know. So meanwhile, how many of these elders were running around committing adultery in addition to covering up CSA and domestic violence? Absolutely. Yeah. Rampantly. And they still do it, especially domestic violence. Domestic violence is a huge problem among Jehovah's Witnesses. Huge problem. And it always gets swept under the rug. Always. That's something that I saw a lot in my congregation. A lot. And we knew about it from other neighboring congregations too, other situations, you know. And yeah, my nephew couldn't understand how I could throw away 50 years of the quote unquote truth. Yeah, well, of course they won't. They can't understand that. Yeah. But the thing is, it's when you realize something is not what it is, you're not throwing away anything because it has no value. In this case, something that calls itself the truth, right? And it's not. What value does it have? You throw it away. It doesn't matter if you've been there 5 years or 50. Get rid of anything that has no value. Get rid of it. You got to cut that loose. Get that out of your life. And, you know, realize that they're really, when you look out there, I was not looking. Ants started getting into my soda. That's what I get for being distracted. Telltale Owen Morgan just put up a video of a guy who walked into a Kingdom Hall telling JW members upon entry he was disfellowshipped. Upon entry, he was disfellowshipped just to see the social experimentation reactions and treatment received. Yeah, I bet there are a lot of blank stares while getting bum rushed by the attendants, right? Out the door. Yeah. I don't know if any of you guys saw quite a few years ago, there was a video, quite an epic video of that guy that was disassociated, and you know, he'd been out for years, and the guy is an apostate according to them and everything. And he got a hold of this congregation, which evidently wasn't up on what was going on with this guy. They thought he was still a witness, and he got scheduled for a public talk. And he actually went there and started giving the whole public talk until they realized like he was teaching them about Jesus. And they ended up shutting the microphone off and then whisking him off the stage. And man, what a boss. That guy is, that was epic. Mr. D, like you hinted at earlier, seems they're prepping everyone for major changes that make no sense to the members. Oh yeah, they said that about 2 years ago. I have to wonder if they're waiting for older folks to pass before they make big changes. Maybe, yeah. Susan says, anyone else have PTSD from the phrase, wouldn't you agree? Yeah. I can't remember how many times I heard that on JW Broadcasting. Well, yeah, and even just in the literature as well. Usually on something where, you know, they want to get you on board with what they're teaching, right? Like something that nobody else agrees with. But wouldn't you agree? right? Talvez puede ser. Until he said too much about Jesus, right? Exactly. When he started really talking about Jesus, and then all of a sudden it clicked. Somebody realized, like, wait a minute, because that was right from the soundboard. They shut the microphone off on the stage and quickly whisked him away. Don Kennedy, Albert, yeah, who did that visiting Epic Public Talk. Yep, he was NMS at one time and was still on the list for outgoing speakers. Did a marvelous job. 20 minutes before they shut him down. 20 minutes, man. He damn near made it, like the whole talk. That's about half of the talk. That is awesome. Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good video when I watched that, and it was just so, man. That gave me some anxiety watching that, though. I'm not going to lie. It really did. When I watched it, I was like, oh my God, what's this guy doing? But I think Jay says, I think the JWs are waiting for the older ones to pass before they get rid of the 1914 teaching. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, maybe at the very least to say that, right? Like that's making it old light. They pretty much already did. I mean, as far as, with the introduction of right around that same time when all of them died off, and then immediately they had ready the, the overlapping generations. So in practice, they already have. Right, exactly, Mr. D. They kind of already have. I mean, they basically, way back then, they already did it. Like at the turn of, 99, 2000, right in that area, and they already had it ready. And pretty much since then have never again mentioned anything about 1914 or the generation. So in practice, it's already dead a long time ago, So, but there's, like you said, yeah, there's still a lot of old timers that maybe are, that's still a real big deal to them. So they might wait. Yeah. Anyone wants to see a great crash? See the one Stacy Lopez did back in 2018-19 in Vancouver, Canada convention. She was bum rushed by 100 attendants. Another in Texas at the CSA Watchtower. Wow, I didn't know that. That's amazing. Mr. D, I left in 95, ready for Newington to arrive on Generation Teaching. Yeah, it came 6 months later, I believe. New Light. Yeah. Yep. So they just, with the whole 1914 thing, they just kind of, they swept it out so fast, nobody ever even had an idea. They never even felt it. They just stopped talking about it. That's all they did. 2 years ago at the convention, they talked about 1914. Oh, no kidding. Yeah. Well, not very common, though. You don't hear about that much anymore. They'll still make reference to it. I mean, as far as the, like the, Jesus being installed and in heaven and kicking Satan out and all of that, but they don't really say much. They don't say much about the generation anymore. That's because they're all dead. I mean, what can they say? They're all dead and nothing happened. End of story. So yet they still use 1914 print sometimes, as well as the 607 BCE nonsense. Yeah, it's Watchtower math. So Russell math, all that stuff. Yeah, it's a bunch of BS. All of that. So yeah, it's like 50 shades of Watchtower hypocrisy, They know with the overlapping generations deep down, it's all BS. Well, yeah, right. And they really bring it out nicely if you watch JT and Lady C's video about the 144,000 and how they ran out of seats and then they had to change everything. And, hey, Jane, Spitfire, hello. Thank you. Same to you. I hope you're having a good day. Thanks for being here. Thank you. Appreciate that. So yeah, it's when JT and Lady C brought up that video, and they recapped it here very recently about the no, I'm sorry, the 144,000, and how, you know, they ran out of seats and then they had to basically change everything and then open it back up, and then they came up with the other sheep, and that's how they fixed that little problem. The other sheep, because otherwise there was too many people. It's like, how do you? Okay, we reached 104,000. Now what? Now what do we do? Oh, we need these other sheep. So, BS, bunch of BS. All of it. It's BS, and it's bad for you, like George Carlin said. Rest in peace. So, Watchtower conning, folks, and glad we all woke up. Yeah. Thank goodness. Thank God. Thank God we've woken up in whatever stage you're at in your journey right now, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're con artists. And this has been something that they've been able to perfect for well over a century, and under the convenient veneer of a religion, which affords them a lot of considerations. They get a lot because of that, because people are just so brainwashed when it comes to religion and the governments. Oh, another thing. Well, yeah. Speaking of, where they get money from and things like that, it's the same thing with the governments. They talk about the governments. It's from Satan. That's Satan's system. And so that's why we don't participate in anything having to do with politics or anything like that. Yet they take money from the governments. Oh, we'll take your money though. It's bullshit. Any other way you want to cut that? Complete bullshit. Organization is walking, talking contradiction. Thank God for the internet to shine a spotlight on the real truth. Amen to that, Mr. D. Absolutely. David, Rutherford Fraud. Yeah, that's a good one. Totally redefined other sheep and great crowd into his narrative that Nora, Franz, Drax, and the rest of the governing body elders perpetuate. Yep. Jehovah loves Satan's money. Yes, he does. Yep. I don't want anything else, but if your money's green, doesn't matter. My brother died, and JW said he will come back to life because of me being a JW. Why he was a big old bad boy and not a JW living. Yeah, the condition, things like that. Oh, he'll come back because of you. Yeah. And yet they sponsored the jab. Wonder why? Yeah, exactly. Tal vez puede ser. I like that name. A good Spanish name. Tal vez puede ser. Quizás. They sponsored the jab, right? And they told all their people to get the jab. Interesting. Analyze that. I was told there's no hierarchy. Yeah, bullshit. Not only is there a hierarchy, there's a clergy. Jehovah's Witnesses have a clergy class. Oh, yes, they do. From their own mouth. That's not from me. Okay. I heard in my local congregation, they stated that the anointed so far were 23,000. Has anyone heard the same? No, I haven't heard that. I wonder how they came up with that. Wow. Speaking of bullshit. Watchtower had many investments, cigarettes, military, JW fake religion, nursing homes, cadaver selling, real estate. Yeah. Yep. All of the above. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Just like no clergy lady class, that lie was in the Grand Climax Revelation Watchtower publication. We all had that book study. Yep. They all get dressed up when the CO visits, impressing men. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Hence the name of my channel, because the CO visit is the maximum expression of hypocrisy and fakeness. Watchtower is movie video studios in Australia and trying to build one in New Jersey. Yeah. Well, yeah, with Ramapo. Yeah, that's in New York, actually. And Bible Museum in England. Yeah. Yep. Indeed. Yep. More apostates, quote unquote, drinking the wine and teeth crunching the bread. Yep. Yep. The Antichrist organization. When you start looking at it through that lens, it all becomes apparent. It all becomes crystal clear. It's an Antichrist. Watchtower Bible and Tract Society is Antichrist. Do you know that JW and World are less than 1% of worldwide people? Yeah, way less. Way less. Yep, not apostate, mentally diseased. That's right. That's another adjective that they use for us. For sure. Yep. So it's, really interesting too. And I think with the recent situation, it'll be interesting to see how all this situation right now with tariffs and all that, how that's going to affect, the worldwide work. It will affect it. Nobody believes when I tell them about the Watchtower of being in the United Nations. They think I'm crazy, but I tell them to do their own research, but I know they won't do that. Yeah. Maybe they will. Maybe up front they'll just tell you no, but you planted that curiosity in them. We were all on our best behavior with the CO visit in fear of getting deleted. I'm surprised they didn't substitute deleted for disfellowshipped instead of removed. TM violation. Yeah, that's probably why. Don't even doubt it. Their biggest enemy, Christendom. And they're not Antichrist. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you just look at the teachings. Look at the memorial. They want to keep you from doing absolutely everything that has anything to do with worshiping Jesus. So, don't partake of the emblems. Can't partake of the emblems. You're not going to heaven. Don't pray to him. Don't worship him. Don't do this. Don't do that. He's not God. He's an angel. All this stuff. He's Michael. Just complete bullshit. Every time I tell people about that, that witnesses think that Jesus is Michael the Archangel, they just laugh hysterically. They're like, what? Luke 10:7, do not go from house to house. Yeah, then there was never any evidence of that. I mean, absolutely no evidence of that. And there's no, there's plenty of doubts about also, like we talked about before, Matthew chapter 28, those last verses, the validity of those, going and making disciples and baptizing them in the Trinitarian formula. The big doubts around those scriptures. The 3-man judicial committee should have been renamed Pharisee committees. Yeah. I read in the Time magazine back in the 70s on major religions in U.S. Watchtower is mentioned, but it said it will go extinct because of doctrine change, and the doctrine's changing and they're faulty. Yeah, it's slowly happening. Yeah. Yep. Despite that, they're still around. I don't think that they'll go extinct. I don't agree with that. They won't go extinct. They'll change. They'll change their business model. Okay. If the branch of the Latter-day Saints, which is the fundamental church of the Latter-day Saints, still operates, even though their cult leader is in prison for the rest of his life for raping young girls and all of that, they still exist. Watchtower will still exist. There are worse cults, believe it or not. Genesis 8:20-21 says God never have another would never destroy man or earth after the flood. Right. Yeah. No, that's what the change the name and new rules. I'm surprised so many active JWs have podcasts. That is not allowed for them. Yeah, but then again, you know, the disobedience is just in people's, which if they don't even realize it, but they're already doing it, right? They already have that in them already just by doing that, which supposedly, oh, they're doing it to defend the organization, but you're not supposed to. That's what the official website's for. That started way back in the 90s when brothers would come up with their own websites, and long before jw.org, but they would come up with their own websites. And there were a couple of brothers that had basically like they made up their own Watchtower library online. And then there were actually articles about it. There were no local needs, and there were Watchtower studies about it where it was like, nah, don't do that. Yeah, they quashed that real quick. So it's been happening for decades. But you always got those people that do it. Like they feel that they have to take it onto them to defend the organization. And the governing body is like, no, don't do it, right? JW have double standards. I think Watchtower will still be a 50 billion business, but JW fake religion will die out. Yeah, well, like I said, something's going to change. Either they'll just give it up and they'll concentrate on what they're actually doing. They'll give up the religion aspect of it, but I don't know though, because being the religion at the forefront gives them a lot of privileges, not paying taxes and things like that. So I doubt it. Sixes says Pharisaical, kangaroo, illegal judicial committees, I think, with window washers. I told them, hell no, unless you have a seat for my legal representative. Yeah. That's the way you got to do it with a legal organization like this. You have to play, fire with fire. You come at them with legal precedents as well. Speak their language. They'll get it. Do you think more Zoom meetings and videos will sell Kingdom Halls? Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going that way. That's why they're building that audiovisual Hollywood studio in Ramapo. They're not doing that for nothing. It's because part of their business change is going more towards online and television and less physical Kingdom Halls. I think they might still have it once in a while here and there. But like I said, it was maybe people go like once a week just to check in, but mostly it'll be online. But interestingly, they can promote the logo and name on news channels. Right. Exactly. It's obvious. That's the logical thing. If they're investing so many millions into Ramapo, there's a reason for it. Ramapo studio done in 2027. What about the end of the world? Right. Well, actions speak for themselves. Just look at their actions. Okay. You're worried about the end of the world? They're not. Not for them. They want you worried about it. They want you putting your life on hold for the end, but they're not doing it. They've already allowed this world system to broadcast their movies. Yeah. Imagine that. Okay, Jane. Bye-bye. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. I like to keep these lives to about an hour at the most. So we're going to go, if we can stretch this out about another 15 minutes. And we'll be hanging it up. So, yeah, so that's the situation, or maybe even sooner, because I pretty much said what I wanted to say today. And, just kind of expanding on that video where I was talking about that, about the limited contact and all that stuff. Well, the organization does not limit its contact at all. Okay, they don't limit their contact. I also saw a Christian movie, to my knowledge, nothing to do with Jehovah's Witnesses, but they had the JW New World Translation Bible. Interesting. Yep. So, the JW might have been involved in it in some way. That's product placement. Product placement. But yeah, the Watchtower organization does not limit their contact. Everything is valid in the name of business. It's all about the Benjamins, baby. That's what it's all about. Hasn't it always been that way? Right? Hasn't it always been that way? Makes me wonder too, like who has been behind. You guys remember that big push during, I think it was last year's Super Bowl, with that Christian message, and then the series about The Chosen, that new series about Jesus, and it was such a different portrayal of Jesus, which I liked it, but it makes me wonder if organizations like Watchtower weren't involved in that, because they had all these people, contributing and things, but you don't know who it is, kind of interesting, because it was a very different portrayal of Jesus, I think the organization will eventually make major changes regardless of losses, because tens of billions of dollars in assets goes a long way to rebuild an organization. Yeah. Well, and the thing is, I don't think they're hurting at all. I mean, I don't think really people leaving or any of that is hurting them as far as the business aspect of it, because that really has nothing to do with all the real estate and everything else that's going on, except they need people to build those free kingdom halls so that then they can turn around and sell them at a profit. So, they need some people. They need to keep some people in the organization, which they always will. There's always someone willing to believe it. And they're always born-ins. So they'll always have willing youngsters who will, be a part of those building projects and things like that. So, indeed. Well, I want to thank everybody. I think we've really just gotten to everything that I wanted to touch on in this live stream, and I appreciate everyone being here. I appreciate you watching and your comments and contributing to it. Thank you very much. Okay, give that like there if you haven't already, please. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. And just stay tuned. More videos from the CO visit coming up very soon. Okay, so I hope everybody has a good rest of your day. Thank you, Talvez. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Sixes, thank you as well. Thank you for being here. Okay, and take care, everybody. Be blessed. See you in the next ones.